Okay, let's talk about Gucci. This isn't just a story about fashion. It's a story about luxury, betrayal, and this wild, constant cycle of dramatic reinvention that you just have to see to believe. I mean, you really have to wonder, right? How does a small, humble luggage shop explode into this global powerhouse, leaving a trail of genius, greed, and even murder in its wake? Well, let's get right into it, starting at the very beginning. So it all starts with one guy, Guccio Gucci. In the early 1900s, he's working as a bellhop at the super fancy Savoy Hotel in London. And he's not just carrying bags, he's watching. He's soaking it all in, studying the style of the world's richest people. And that experience, that became the entire blueprint for his brand. He opens his first little shop in Florence in 1921, but it was his son, Aldo, who really had the vision to go global. I mean, this guy was a force of nature. He masterminded this incredible expansion, planting the Gucci flag everywhere. Rome, New York, London, all the way to Tokyo by 1972. You know, he was so good at it that President John F. Kennedy actually called him the first Italian ambassador to the United States. Pretty amazing. And it wasn't just about opening stores. They were creating these cultural touchstones. The famous bamboo bag, that was actually a super clever workaround for post-war material shortages. And the Jackie bag got its name because, well, Jacqueline Kennedy was famously photographed with it all the time. These pieces weren't just accessories. They were the status symbols that defined that whole era of Italian cool, La Dolce Vita. But just as Gucci hit the absolute peak of its power, the family that built it started to tear it all down. The 1980s were no longer the sweet life. Nope. This was the start of a bitter, public, and incredibly destructive family civil war. And the collapse was just this tragic, slow-motion train wreck. It all started with cousins and uncles suing each other, backstabbing each other for control. Then, to make a quick buck, they started licensing the Gucci name onto thousands of cheap products, which completely destroyed the brand's exclusive vibe. By 1993, the investors had had enough, and they forced the last family member, Mauricio, to sell his shares. And just 2 years after that, he was shot and killed. The hitman, hired by his own ex-wife, Patricia Reggiani. It's unbelievable. And, you know, this wasn't some private family squabble. All their dirty laundry was out there for the world to see. The Gucci name went from being a symbol of pure luxury to this tabloid spectacle of greed and ultimately violence. So by the early 90s, Gucci was basically on life support. It was financially a mess, creatively bankrupt. The brand needed a miracle. And that miracle, believe it or not, showed up in the form of a young, totally unknown designer from Texas. So a new creative director, Tom Ford, comes in and his strategy was just brutal, but brilliant. He slashed the number of products from a ridiculous 22,000 down to just 7,000. He cut the number of stores from over 1,000 to only 180. The goal was simple: make Gucci rare and desirable again, even if it meant getting smaller first. And Ford's vision? It was a complete 180. He injected this pure, unapologetic sex appeal into the brand. We're talking about sensual dresses with cutouts you wouldn't believe, silver handcuffs as accessories, and ad campaigns that were so scandalous, they basically created a whole new aesthetic, porno chic. It was shocking, it was glamorous, and wow, did it work. And the proof, as they say, is in the pudding. Or in this case, the money. By 1997, those investors who had bought the broken company from the Gucci family, they sold their shares for a staggering $1.9 billion. Tom Ford didn't just save Gucci, he turned it into one of the most profitable fashion houses on the planet. But then, after Tom Ford's dramatic exit in 2004, Gucci started to feel a bit stale again. That sleek, sexy look felt dated. So the brand had to reinvent itself all over again for a whole new generation. And the answer, amazingly, came from a little-known accessories designer who was already working inside the company. And this next shift just shows you how a brand can have two completely opposite personalities and still be massively successful. Alessandro Michele basically took Tom Ford's sleek hedonism and threw it out the window. He replaced it with this maximalist, romantic, gender-fluid vision. His Gucci was intellectual, it was eccentric, it was wonderfully weird, and it was perfectly made for the Instagram age. And the result was another incredible boom. Under Michele, Gucci's revenue just skyrocketed, peaking at over 10 billion euros in 2022. But if you look closely, you'll see that recently, that explosive growth is kind of stalled out and even started to go backwards, which tells us, yep, here we go again, another period of transition for the brand. Which brings us right up to today. You see, the story of Gucci has always been about reinvention, but now the pace of change is just dizzyingly fast. It really makes you wonder about the brand's stability and where it could possibly go from here. And it's not just about the creative direction. The modern Gucci is navigating a total minefield of controversy. We're talking culturally insensitive designs, massive tax fines, protests on their own runways, and even the first employee strikes in the company's history. The path forward is anything but smooth. You can really see this instability right at the very top. I mean, after the long defining eras of Ford and Michelle, that creative director's chair has become a revolving door. This kind of rapid turnover makes it incredibly hard for the brand to build any kind of consistent vision for its future. But hey, before we wrap up, here's a fun little fact that just perfectly captures the sheer audacity of Gucci. Back in 1998, the brand set a Guinness World Record for the most expensive pair of jeans ever sold. And the price? A cool $3,134 for one pair of distressed, beaded jeans. Wild. And that really brings us to the final crucial question. This is a house that was built on creativity, torn apart by family, resurrected by sex, and then completely reimagined by romance. It has died and been reborn more times than pretty much any other brand out there. So the question isn't if it can change, but what it's going to become next.